You know that number you see on the news all the time, the unemployment rate? It's this single digit that's supposed to tell us how the economy's doing. But what if I told you that number is hiding a much, much bigger story? A story that gets to the heart of what's really going on with our jobs and our future. So let's just jump right in with a big question. Is every single person who's unemployed a bad sign for the economy? The answer, you might find, is a little surprising, and it's why getting this topic right is so incredibly important for all of us. Okay, but before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's just be really clear about what's at stake here. High unemployment isn't just some abstract number. It has real-world consequences. We're talking about slower growth for the entire country, families losing their income, and a real decay of people's skills and their well-being. The costs are they're massive. All right, so to really get a handle on this, we've got to start with the basics. Let's decode what that headline number is actually telling us. First things first, who even counts as unemployed? In the eyes of economists, the definition is super specific. It's not just anyone without a job. You have to be able to work, you have to be willing to work, and here's the kicker, you have to be actively looking for a job. That means your typical full-time student, a retiree, or someone who's just given up looking for now, well, they aren't even in this main statistic. Now, the formula itself looks pretty straightforward, right? Simple division, multiply by 100. But here's the catch. The real magic, the complexity, is all baked into those definitions of who gets to be in the unemployed bucket and who's in the labor force in the first place. Getting that right is everything. And this is where things get really interesting. Because it turns out that one single unemployment rate is actually a cocktail, a mix of different kinds of joblessness. And each one tells a completely different story about the health of our economy. We can basically boil it down to three core types. You've got frictional, which is all about people moving between jobs. Then there's structural, which is about a mismatch between skills and available jobs. And finally, cyclical, which is the one tied directly to the ups and downs of the economy. So first up is frictional unemployment. Honestly, the best way to think of this is as the natural search time in the job market. It's people graduating and looking for their first job, or someone quitting to find a better one. It's short-term, and in any healthy, bustling economy, you're always going to have some of this. It's actually a good sign. Next is structural unemployment, and this one's a much tougher nut to crack. This happens when the very structure of the economy shifts under our feet. Think about automation replacing certain jobs, or a factory moving overseas. The jobs might exist somewhere else, but the workers on the ground just don't have the right skills anymore. This is a deep, long-term problem that calls for big solutions, like major retraining and education initiatives. And finally, we have cyclical unemployment. This is the one that really flashes the warning lights for the whole economy. It's what you hear about during a recession. This isn't about skills or someone looking for a better gig. This is about a broad, economy-wide lack of demand. Businesses just aren't selling enough stuff, so they stop hiring and start letting people go. This is the type that signals real trouble. Okay, so now that we know the different types, we can talk about how to fix them. And this is so important. You can't just use the same tool for every job. You have to match the medicine to the specific illness affecting the economy. And this slide lays it out perfectly. To fight that scary cyclical unemployment during a recession, governments use demand-side policies, things like stimulus checks and interest rate cuts to get people spending again. But here's the thing, that does absolutely nothing for structural unemployment. To fix a skills gap, you need supply-side policies, investing in education, job training programs. Two very different problems, two totally different toolkits. So all of this brings up a really fascinating, kind of counterintuitive question. If some unemployment is actually natural, maybe even healthy, then what are we even aiming for? What does it mean for an economy to be at full employment? Right, so economists have this idea called the natural rate of unemployment. And no, it's not 0%. It's the baseline level of joblessness that you'd expect to see just from the normal churn of the economy. That's your frictional and structural types all added together. It's the unemployment that's left over even when the economy is otherwise doing great. So here's the big takeaway, the thing to remember. The goal, the economic ideal we call full employment, is not 0% unemployment. That's a myth. The goal is zero cyclical unemployment. It means the economy is firing on all cylinders, running at its absolute full potential, with only that natural, transitional joblessness left. Of course, this is all happening in theory. In the real world, things are getting messy. The whole framework is being put to the test. I mean, think about the gig economy. Does a driver juggling 3 different apps just to make ends meet count as fully employed? And what about the tidal wave of AI and automation? That could create a whole new kind of structural unemployment we've never seen before. These old categories are really struggling to keep up. And that really brings us full circle, doesn't it? It's so important to remember that behind all these charts and numbers and economic theories, this is a profoundly human issue. It's about unused potential, it's about people's lives, and it's a real cost to our society. So I'll leave you with this to think about. As technology and AI keep moving faster and faster, what are our definitions of work and skills even going to look like in 5, 10, 20 years? What will it truly mean to be employable in the economy of tomorrow?